Adam.
Let's see what happens.
Adam,
Let's see what happens.
Adam, how...
I was just doing random sounds at that point.
Adam,
Let's
how...
see. Adam and Dan, unrelated, Jackson's talking. Hello!
Hello, Adam.
When you're editing this, you don't have to put the theme song in because I did such a good job of that intro music.
Was that your acoustic a cappella cover?
It was, yeah. I was a one-man band. Could you hear the harmonies?
So many hits on the YouTube. Yeah, and they're clanging the cymbals together.
Cymbals.
You used paper plates, but it looked great.
No, it was my teeth. It was my metal fillings. Clang, clang.
You just rejected my
Your
offer.
intro. Yeah, I know. I'm blocking.
All right. Take it again, guys. Take it again.
Adam and Dan, unrelated, Jackson's talking, clang.
Hello, Adam.
Oh, sorry.
Your teeth make a weird noise.
They were
Clang.
paper plates, man.
Adam and Dan, unrelated, Jackson's talking. Now I'm so confused and alone and scared. But we always have each other. Until one of us dies or gets hit by a car or stops liking the other person or... this is an odd way to start a podcast.
Anyway,
Podcasting Jacksons.
that's not the song. What are you talking about?
That's the... they don't have sequels for songs, do they? Only when they're sort of silly songs. Like there was that one where...
should.
I shot my girlfriend dead. Do you remember that one?
I don't.
And it was this epic song about this guy just rapping about... this girlfriend, and now she's dead. I might be getting this wrong.
And then there was a sequel?
I think there was.
What was in the sequel?
And
now I'm in
she's-
prison.
Pick up their soap. Don't pick up their soap.
But Nick Cave does sequels from time to time.
Does he?
Well...
Is that sort of admitting that the first one wasn't very good? Or?
No, because he put them both on the album. So he had Let Love In, and the first track was Do You Love Me, and then the last track was Do You Love Me, but it was different.
I like that.
Different. And then there was Radiohead that did Morning Bell, I think, on...
Morning Bell.
Yeah, he did it on Kid A, and it was fairly so-so. Then did it again on Amnesiac, and it was awesome.
Eh?
Yeah.
The same song?
The same song, but completely new arrangement.
Well, I had no idea.
You check it out, baby.
Huh.
But they're not sequels though. Now that I think about it, they're more like self covers. So, let me think. Where would be a? Because there was that one, the Scrubs song. I don't want no scrubs.
By TLC.
I think some dudes did a rebuttal song. So again, not a sequel, but it's like. What was that? About pigeons, I think. And it was like a rebuttal song to the song about Scrubs. So it's like West Side Story where all these scrubs and pigeons like meet in an alleyway to duke it out.
So pigeons is the name for chicks?
For bad chicks.
Ooh.
I'd never really heard the song, so I don't know what's bad about them, but chances are they'll shit on statues, these chicks. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the way to tell that a lady's not for you. I'm not really into that.
But sequels to songs, let me think.
Because I'm thinking of, Grease. And the story continues, right?
But that's a musical.
It doesn't matter. It's a sequel. That's what I'm thinking. All movies.
Oh, as in Grease 2? I never saw it. Nobody saw Grease 2.
I haven't seen it either. But High School Music, I haven't seen that either. But what's that time traveling thing with Michael J. Fox? Back to the Future.
Back to the Future, yeah.
That has sequels. So the story continues.
Yes.
I think every one of John Mayer's albums is like a sequel.
Is it?
It's like a follow-up to his life and how he relates to himself and ladies.
But that's, unless it refers back, then it's just on par with like Facebook updates. It's like, I saw a movie today in C. Yeah, had lunch today in G minor. Yeah, I met a girl today in F. Yeah.
Can you pass me that guitar?
Yes, please. Daniel's going to live acoustic us.
Really? And it's purposefully out of tune.
So it's just like John Mayer. Oh!
Hey!
I've never heard him, really.
So, Well,
Sing us a John Mayer song.
no. Well,
Something we
would
we were practicing before this podcast.
So let's take it again from the
Da,
top.
da, da. Oh, right. Okay.
No. But you've got to call out the chords as well.
So there was let me see. I went to a movie today in C. And then there was I had a sandwich today in G minor. Oh. Then I met a girl in F. And we went on a date back in C. Beautiful.
Thank you very much.
What do you call that song?
Live podcast music. No, I call it So Depressed. Don't ask.
Oh, John. Oh, John Mayer. Who's hurt you now? You're so lonely.
Nicole Kidman.
I never understood people that write love songs, right?
Okay.
And people, not love songs, heartache songs. So you hear it in country music or Taylor Swift, but you also, there's these old-timey male songwriters that sing a lot about heartache. And an album's full of them, right? And presumably they're not all about the same chick. Maybe they're, a few of them are, but they would have had to have churned and burned through quite a few girls to get the material to make so many love songs.
They could all be different aspects of the same relationship.
Yeah,
I
but
have a bit of expertise with these because
you write love songs.
A big portion of my discography is...
By the way, for those that don't know, Daniel Jackson's quite the prolific songwriter.
You said it, not me.
Oh, I said. Well, I'll give you more. He's if you go on Facebook and look up Daniel James Jackson, that is his artiste name, and there you'll be able to find a list of his songs. You'll be able to have a listen. Some really good stuff on there.
Thanks. We'll leave this bit in.
There's one song about what happens. He goes to a movie, has a sandwich. He meets a girl, then goes to another movie. It's great.
It'll be uploaded by the time we put this on there.
That's right. Sorry, go on about your music making, Daniel.
Yeah, plenty of breakup songs, heartache songs.
And are they all about different breakups, or are they all about the same ones?
One of them was about the one relationship. As in, a series of songs were about the one grievance.
One disc was all about the one girl.
Let's say, one disc, yes.
Well,
one LP.
One LP. One
mini disc. One laser disc.
One 7-inch record.
Right.
Yes. Okay. Well, that makes a bit more sense then.
So I'm saying, bag away, and I'll be able to explain your weirdness with... Oh, sorry, not weirdness.
Thanks,
That's
Daniel.
a bit judgmental.
Sweet. Yeah.
Your issue with heartache songs is just another heart.
I mean, it's just prolific. That's all. I mean,
why don't people get over it?
Well, no. It's more like...
Do you understand why they come into being?
Well, yes, I do. Here's my thing, though. Here's the deal. And I have written one song in my life.
No.
And Daniel's a big fan of it, obviously.
I've heard this.
What? The song?
Have I heard the song?
You've played in the song.
About heartache?
No, just one song. Not about heartache.
Gee, I thought you were writing a heartache song about animals.
No, well, if you reinterpret the lyrics, it could be about heartache. No, I've written one song, and I can while all songs are personal, it was more metaphorical and story driven. But I feel that if I was to write a song about heartache, it would have the goal to be vaguely cathartic.
Continue.
And therefore...
Continue.
Yes.
Please.
Therefore, I would want to get it done in one song. Which is why we broke up in the first place. I get it done in one song and then that's it. But you know what I mean though, Daniel?
I hear what you're saying.
Do you finish a song and then you're still nope, still in pain?
Yes!
What?
How many steps are there to grieving?
4 verses and a bridge, obviously.
This is
Am
my
I
new
wrong?
single.
Am I wrong here or what?
Yes.
Oh, that's a shame.
Do you want me to I'll get the songs that I've written about the one relationship?
No, this isn't a Daniel James Jackson variety half hour here.
All right, I'll do this as a separate one and sneak it onto the podcast feed.
Do that. Why don't you just link them to it?
I'll link the shit out of it.
Link the shit out of them.
Link it to the ladies pooping on the statues. Must be a German thing. Ding.
Adam and Dad, unrelated.
Pooping on things. Yeah, a different. Okay.
Go.
Oh, I think that was sort of a rhetorical statement, wasn't it? No, you can't have that. Can you have a rhetorical statement?
It was a rhetorical question. No,
it wasn't a question.
I did at some point.
I think we
have
both
an upward inflection in my voice at some point.
What I mean is that I think with the sarcasm in our voices, we both agree that you're wrong. Or do you genuinely believe that one song should do it?
Okay, what I do think is that there are people that have not just filled out an album, but made their 30-year career making songs about meeting girls.
Beating girls?
Meeting girls. Meeting girls.
In a meat grinder.
And I'm talking...
I don't care if you have an example or not.
Not necessarily new music, sometimes old, but back in the day when it was a slightly more misogynistic and it's all about, I'm talking like the 70s where it's like...
While my woman complains
No,
her.
not misogynistic in that regard, but just like... I saw her there and she was awesome, so I knew I had to have her, that kind of...
When I saw her standing there.
Exactly. What I mean to say is if people are spending 30 years doing songs about meeting girls, falling in love and heartbreak, they must be, in my opinion, they'd have to be fairly prolific in
having their heart broken?
Yes!
Putting themselves in that situation.
Exactly. Which to me diminishes the concept of love. I finished my rant in a deep voice.
This is all about gay rights.
Well...
and pigeon stool.
Do you get what I mean now?
Okay, yeah. Yeah. You're talking a 30-year career where someone's like...
I met this girl.
Once again.
She broke my heart. So I met this girl. Definitely in love now, but she broke my heart. But then I met this girl. Definitely in love, but she broke my heart.
Adam. Isn't that called life? Just a series of heartbreaks and then you die.
That's awful.
Yeah, that's life.
Does that mean I can't be do I have to get my girlfriend to break up with me for me to actually be a songwriter? Is that the way it works?
You could write happy songs about love.
That's even worse.
My love, it's 10 years ago that we got together, and now it's kind of mediocre. We've got a good routine. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Sex is more a chore. She washes the dishes, I put out the trash.
In C.
Pass me my guitar.
Oh,
no, it's okay.
I can't be bothered. Yeah. Do you have other songs besides love songs?
I thankfully I do. Actually, I find I've had a bit of a struggle with this whole having written like 10 sort of breakup songs. They're pretty much
and
just
all about the same
song.
one.
All about the same breakup.
And do you approach them from different angles each time, or
same lyrics, just different structure? We'll sing about how sad I am first, and then we'll get to like self-mutilation.
Yes.
No, that's a horrible joke to make. I didn't make that joke.
Let me see your arms, Daniel. All right,
they're in
clear.
C. And so when someone would say, "Hey, do you want to perform a set?" or like, "Hey, let's hear some songs," I don't want to just sort of rely on... I don't want to perform all these breakup songs.
That sounds like... I heard a story about Damien Rice where... whose music just lit your wrists by, but I heard a story that... because he had that female singer that sung on all this stuff, and the story I heard was that at one point she was just in the dressing room and he just came in and without, warning, just fired her ass. And
Whoa.
the reason that she put was because he can only write songs when he's desperately depressed. Things were actually going quite well for him. You know, he was successful as a musician, and he was on tour, and he had this girl and all that. So he had to put himself in a situation where he'd be depressed again and be able to write music again. So he fired this chick so he could be depressed. So that's
It's pretty full on.
Hasn't he ever heard of imagination? Like, can he not just imagine what it would be like to be sad or to have a breakup?
It takes more effort. And then you're writing an imagined... Well, I've written happy love songs about an imagined relationship.
I say nothing wrong with that. Like,
true.
I mean, seriously, if you look at the Game of Thrones series, whatever, George R. Martin or whatever, he's not slaying dragons, he's imagining, you know? You don't have to do everything you sing about. You can sing about the dragons without having written on them.
But I have thought about that exact thing that... Well, for myself... After a long-term relationship, broke up, and for the first time in a long time, I started writing songs. I had to. It was like definitely a coping mechanism, right?
Okay.
And I don't necessarily write if I'm not in that needing sort of situation and place. I have to force myself, almost.
Well, Daniel, I don't see anything wrong with that.
But then if I'm earning a living from performing,
well,
then I might have a problem if I've got a bad imagination.
Absolutely, you might. But
okay, let's look at John Mayer.
Yep.
He has a bunch of this chick, blah, 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 dealing with this chick. But then he just writes about whatever's going on with him. Which includes positives.
If you look at somebody like John Mayer, and this is different. Like,
How closely?
Close enough. You want to keep your distance, though. You know, you want to wear the hazmat suits.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
If you look at somebody like John Mayer, I play the accordion. I sing in a band, or I play accordion in a band, and I sing one song in that band, which I wrote.
Very good.
Somebody like John Mayer cannot keep his hands off his guitar. That's not a euphemism. I'm saying that he is so musically inclined that he is one of those people that would be playing music, writing music, every chance he gets. I've heard, not John Mayer, but Prince. I've heard that if Prince was to die, they could release a new record of his unreleased works for the next 10 or so years.
Right.
He lives in a recording studio. He cannot but make music. And what I'm saying to you is, can you say the same?
No.
So,
not to that same degree.
That, I suppose, is one difference between why you don't write music unless you've got the exact right situation and somebody that can't stop writing music.
So Damien Rice is...
Well, yeah. I'm not sure that counts for everything. Damien Rice might just be an absolute genius that doesn't, spend every waking moment. Well, maybe he's writing music, but he can't write lyrics. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it's the be-all and end-all solution, but I'm saying for some people, they can't. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, you can't live your life. If you want to be a musician, you can't live your life getting into relationships and then having them end terribly. How's that going to work?
Very well, especially with all the traveling. He obviously finds that he gets some sick enjoyment out of
who's this,
writing,
Mayer or Rice?
Rice.
Yep.
Writing from this tormented, heartbroken place. Yeah. And it's all he knows, which is not a reason for him to not explore other ways of writing about things.
Yeah, but maybe there is. Maybe it's that whole the other thing where the writer that what was her name? The vampire writer, Anne Rice?
Amy Winehouse?
Anne Rice? Did she write Interview with a Vampire and so on?
I have no idea.
Well, the lady that wrote the Interview with a Vampire series and all that wrote other books that weren't vampire related and changed her name for it because the name Anne Rice, if that was her name, was so associated with that style of story that if she wrote any other style, people would be like, oh, where's the vampires? So I guess Damien Rice is a little bit bound by his style now. Like,
if he chooses to be.
if he, well, I think he would lose fans with music that's happy, happy, joy, joy, because they're expecting depressing. What he would need to do would be to change his stage name for that style of music, maybe maybe create a band that has a different name. I swear this is marketing 101, you know? People, if he makes his living singing depressed songs, then, you know, it will be hard for him to break out of that.
It's only if he's like fully pigeonholed himself.
I think he has.
Because, yeah, but what about, I mean, this is something that I'm sure so many bands have gone through where they do have to think about the fact that, okay, our style or whatever has progressed, has changed. We might lose some fans, but we'll probably gain some new ones. Like Radiohead style. Their most recent album is it like some sort of dubstep? I don't know.
No, that's Muse you're talking about.
No.
Muse had the dubstep in it.
I forget whatever style of Radiohead's latest album is.
Yeah, but
you know, and they've changed, they've progressed.
Absolutely.
You look at their first album or their second album.
Yeah, but
it's totally different. And John Mayer, the same thing. He keeps on changing
and the Beatles
growing.
did the same thing.
Yes.
And Bob Dylan did the same thing.
Sure, it's all horrible.
People hated him for it. Bob Dylan tried to change and people hated him for it. Sing the folk
Part of
stuff.
life.
What are you doing? But what I'm saying...
Move on.
But
things change.
And don't quote me on this because I know no examples.
We're recording this right now.
Don't throw it back in my face because I've got no examples.
This is off the record.
But I am pretty darn sure that there are bands out there who most of the band is in a second band that plays a different style of music.
Huh.
Not
Sure.
many. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
Sure, yeah.
I'm in a rock and roll band and me, the guitarist and the drummer, is also in a funk band.
Sure, yeah.
So so using your logic, why can't it just be the same band? But it's different because it's to a different audience, it's different music, it's different expectations.
So how does that explain the Beatles?
The Beatles were remarkable, and they managed to cross it because they were bigger than Jesus. I mean, that was it. They were so big, anything they touched turned to gold. Plus, they were living in a time when people were embracing new ideas and all that. Yeah, Radiohead was big. Well,
I have a friend who was a big Radiohead fan of their early stuff and doesn't care for their later stuff.
I don't really care for their later stuff that much.
Well, this just proves that it's part of life.
I think Radiohead was a bit of a slow evolution, though. I think it was very gradual. Like, I mean, well, maybe not. Kid
Who
A.
cares how the time span, whatever?
Well, no, it does matter if they're only changing in increments.
But I'm saying
it's like if Damien Rice had one song out of his next album that was a bit funky, and then in the next album he had 3 songs out of his album that were a bit funky, and then in 10 years' time he was a funk singer. People would get it. He might lose fans, but people wouldn't go, what the hell's happened? Because he's made that gradual loop. If he just suddenly came out with an album full of funk songs, people would go, what I wanted to cry and slip my wrists. I don't want to dance.
And they would move on. They would go and find some other artist that does that. And then people that like funk music could be like, wow, how cool is this? But you know what I'm saying? It's just whatever happens, and too bad if, it's part of life.
It's all about keeping up appearances, though. I mean...
It doesn't have to be, is what I'm saying. Well, I'm saying that why pigeonhole yourself like that if, you don't need to. That's my point.
The reason would be if you've got...
to just keep on pleasing those fans. But I'm saying if you as an artist, you feel like this is what I want to do now, you're going to take a risk there and make that move. Make the move, Adam.
Look, you are right. Actually, I agree with you. And...
I do too.
Thank you. And look, I think there are bands out there that would really like to do... I mean, I think Nirvana was like that. They wanted to stop doing grunge, so I understand. They wanted to move on to other stuff. But they were told, no, people want the grunge stuff. Keep with the grunge stuff. Do you know anything about this?
No.
I think that's pretty much the story. I'm not saying that the record company was responsible for Kurt Cobain's death. I'm saying that Courtney Love was. No, I'm not. No. But yeah, I think the possibility does exist for people to be pigeonholed either by themselves or by others. And that is sad, yes. See what happens, Daniel, when I agree with you, everything turns to shit.
Well, let's just agree to agree.
Yeah, I guess. Do you want to shake hands on it?
Yeah. Why is your hand wet?
I used to have so many explanations for my wet hands.
I've just been fishing.